Israel's conversations, couch conversations, couch conversations, conversations.
Peace and blessings, family. Welcome back to another couch conversation. Today we're going to pick up with 2 Corinthians chapter 12. We're going to do that in its entirety. And before we get into this delicious word, get your pen, paper, and your Bible so that you can follow along and take notes and, study for yourself. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and pick up with 2 Corinthians chapter 12. We know Zahara did 2 Corinthians chapter 11. And, Paul talked about the things that he's, suffered, which none of these false prophets have suffered, but they seem to want to believe them over Paul, even though they were established under Paul. All right, so let's go ahead and pick up with verse 1.
It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord.
All right, so Paul said, even though it ain't going to profit you nothing by him boasting, but he said, let me go ahead and hit you with the visions and revelations from the Lord, because in chapter 11, he talked about the sufferings, the afflictions, being let down in the basket. But now he's going to show them a different side.
Right.
Okay? And so let's do verse 2.
I knew a man in Christ above 14 years ago. Whether in the body, I cannot tell, or whether out of the body, I cannot tell. God knoweth. Such an one caught up to the third heaven. Verse 3. And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. God knoweth.
And here Paul is talking about himself, but he's using it like, hey, I knew a man that about 14 years ago, whether in the body or out of the body, he said, I can't even tell. But he said, one thing I know, God knows. And so he's going to go on to let them know. But so he said, since y'all want to say this about me, I'm going to tell y'all about a man I know, who is myself, Paul, that whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. But I was called up to that third heaven. Okay, verse 4.
How that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which it is not lawful for a man to utter.
All right. And so he said, he's just telling this same man, heard some words that was not able to be uttered. It just wasn't even lawful to speak on. Now, did you have your false prophets?
No.
Have they been caught up? No, probably down to hell with the devil. But they ain't been caught up to paradise and heard things uttered from the Most High. But let's go to Revelations 10.
Well, this stuff here is exciting. I like going through the scriptures.
So Paul is basically saying, if anybody got something to boast about, it should be me, because I done experienced some things. Okay, Revelations 10 and verse 1.
And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face were as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth, and cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roareth. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not.
Hold on, this John, he caught up too, huh?
Yep, caught up.
He hearing things that don't even write, that don't even utter it, just like Paul. So the same one talking to Paul is the same one that was talking to John.
Same one.
And John, I feel as a dead man. Yeah. So same thing, Paul, he said, I don't know if I were dead or alive. Same thing, because that's their experience. But these preachers today, yes, Lord, yes. I'll say that.
Yes. What? No, I don't know if they're ready. I don't know.
That's right, so that's what they do. But we seeing these men saying they don't know if he was dead or alive. They just straight having a conversation with the
telling you.
Most High. They need to cut it out. And both notice how Paul said he heard things which was not lawful for a man to utter. And look, the same thing with John.
Same.
He said that little book that was open, but he said that when the seven thunders uttered their voices, which are the angels, he said, and when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, he said he was about to write.
No, he was
they
finna
told
get
him,
ready.
don't write that. Yes, same thing, Paul. Don't you utter this. No, that's just for you.
I'd have broke the pencil.
To break the
That way you know I
tear
ain't
the
right.
paper. Yeah. Hey, no. But we see we're dealing with the same God.
That's right.
But they think it's like, ooh, now how Paul said he was caught up to the third heaven.
caught up.
Well, the same thing with John. Ain't no difference.
In other words, a vision.
Yes, just a
He
vision.
just told you visions and revelation.
Yes. Don't you dream when you go to bed at night? You dream. You don't know if you seem like you're there.
Yeah.
Or you don't know if you're there or not.
Yeah.
But you just know you're walking, you're talking to people. It just seems so real. Same thing. All right. Let's go to John chapter 12.
Okay.
And verse 27. But they want to sit here and treat Paul like he's some little Rudy poop.
Yeah.
And this man, been caught up to the third
Right.
heaven. I heard stuff he ain't even told nobody.
Yeah, that your false prophets get you caught up in sin, caught up in trouble.
Yeah. That's right.
John 12 and 27.
Okay.
Now is my soul troubled. And what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour. But for this cause came I unto this hour. Father, glorify thy name. Then came there a voice from heaven saying, I have both glorified it and will glorify it again. The people therefore that stood by and heard it said that it thundered. Others said, an angel spake to him.
There go that thundering.
Boy.
Yes, sir. And it be thundering here, boy. You know, we get the quivering and shaking. But look, these men said, oh, it's an angel that spake to him. So some see that it was, say, oh, that was an angel speaking. So they had some working knowledge of that thunder is really angels talking.
See, that remind you when your grandma and them tell you,
Sit down.
sit down, God talking. See, you thought they were crazy.
No, they wasn't crazy. But the whole time, they knew,
had
they
some
knew
understanding.
something. Yeah.
See, y'all say, well, it's just thunder. I heard it thunder. But the old school
Grandma
used to
say,
tell
no,
us
angel.
God talking.
Sit down. Lord doing his business. That's
Yeah.
what my grandma used to say. Yes, sir. All right. Now let's go to Job
True, though.
37.
But this book is so beautiful. I don't know how nobody can't sit down and read
It
it.
just, yes.
And just get to know your God.
Yes.
You just throw it somewhere. Throw
Yeah,
the book
like,
somewhere.
just take it for
Get
granted.
on Netflix.
Yep.
Go to the movies or go to the game.
Yeah, do something else.
You ain't gonna spend no time with God.
That's why they in trouble.
Job 37 and 5. God thundered marvelously with his voice. Great things doeth he, which we cannot comprehend.
Wow.
Wow.
So God do some things we can't even understand. But it say God marvelously, thundereth marvelously with his voice.
His voice.
So if his voice sound like thunder, what you think the angel's song sound like?
Thunder.
Yes.
So he come here, my child.
No. Peter. Peter. Love is taught me, Peter. No.
Paul, you shall go forth to speak to the children of Israel
Yeah.
and tell them from my mouth.
And listen here, y'all think about when it thunder, how it shake.
Boy, that
I mean,
thing.
it had the window shaking. Boom! That you be like, oh my. And this is God talking.
You can't even handle
What you
that.
think he want the preacher to sound like?
He want thunder.
Saints, you're sinning. Sit down and stop it. Sister Lucille, I know you've been going through a lot of things. You've been committing whoredom. The Lord doesn't like it. No, he wants you to thunder this thing. He wants you to call it
Yeah,
out.
boom.
Put some bass in your voice. Cause that's what he sound like.
It said he spoke with authority.
That's right.
Lord, wasn't no kitty cat mouse.
No. Told Israel like a kitty cat mouse if you want
they'll
to.
run you over.
Yes, sir. That's why he say, cry loud and spare not.
not.
Lift up your voice like
Voice.
a trumpet. You putting that sound out there.
Cause God gonna do it. He gonna make sure you lift his voice
Yes,
up.
sir.
And you gonna hear it when it rains. And you gonna be what they say, low running.
That's right. Be driving.
Why nobody don't tell him to quiet it down?
That's right.
Because you know better. You gotta go inside your head.
Look at the animals when it thunder.
Boy, they get out of
They
there.
be sitting somewhere shaking in the corner. They don't make a noise.
They sure don't.
They got more sense than people.
Yeah, and everybody out there talking and still hanging out. Not me. Let me get out of here. Say when you got some fear for God, you can
Yes,
do that.
sir.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Okay, let us go to Job chapter 40 and verse 9.
Hast thou an arm like God? Or canst thou thunder with a voice like him?
Do you have a arm like God? What kind of power you got? Can you move something? No, Joker can't bust a grape. Or canst thou thunder with a voice like him? We supposed to be thundering with the voice like him, but the way he do it, you can't do
Yeah,
that.
you can't do it.
That's untouchable. You can never reach that magnitude. That shows that he is God. And there is none like him. Man, we felt that at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. We're going to go back to 2 Corinthians 12 and verse 5.
2 Corinthians 12 and 5 reads, Of such an one will I glory, yet of myself I will not glory, but in mine infirmities.
All right. So Paul saying in this here that I just told y'all about being caught up in the third heaven, up in the paradise, hearing things that cannot be uttered. He said, but I'm not going to glory in that. But he said, but I will glory in my infirmities, in my weaknesses. Because that's when God uses you the most.
Yes.
That's when you, because God wants the glory. You don't deserve none. Because he could take that from you, give it to somebody else.
That's right.
So Paul said, I'm not going to glory in that. That's foolishness to do that. But in my infirmities and in my weaknesses. Why? Because I can say the Lord healed me. I can say the Lord blessed me. I can say when I didn't have no money, the Lord provided. He put food on my table. I can boast in that because he's getting the glory and honor.
That's right.
All right.
Not like them false prophets.
Oh, no.
Them false apostles tell you what good things they can do ain't
Yeah.
did nothing.
Making people blind.
Yeah.
These shows ain't opening their eyes. And with all this, all these preachers, televangelists, so-called, oh yeah, I'm a prophet of the Most High, and I heal and come throwing coats like Benny Hinn and them all used to do.
Yeah.
Well, why y'all ain't cleared out these hospitals? Why y'all ain't throwing no coats on this vacation?
That's right.
Why nobody saw that coming? Because they lying to you.
They're liars.
All
People
right.
still love them.
Yes, they do. Eat them up.
Verse 6. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be, or that he heareth of me.
All right. So Paul said, you think I'm finna, though I would desire the glory, he said, I would be a fool to do that. But he said, but I'm going to tell you the truth. He said, but for now, I'm going to just hold back on that. He said, because somebody else going to think of me more than they ought to. And it's God that gets the glory, not Paul. And that's the way we all should be about this work that we're doing. Okay? Jeremiah 9, 23 and 24.
All right. And it reads, Thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord.
All right. So he said, if you let not a wise man glory in his wisdom, then didn't Solomon have wisdom?
Yep, sure did.
But then women took him out.
Took him out. Mm-hmm.
Don't glory in your wisdom, or neither let a mighty man glory in his might. And we're going to look at that in the next few verses about glorying in your might, how strong you is and what you can do, your strength. And let not the rich man glory in his riches, because that stuff going to fade away. You ain't going to be able to use it. But let him that glory in this. This is what you should be glorying in. That he understandeth and knoweth me. That means you got to get in this book in order to understand and know the Lord. You just don't know him and understand him by sitting and saying, okay, Lord, let's have a conversation. No. You got to get in this book. And that's what you should glory. So that means you should glory in his word. Because you're going to get understanding and know what the Lord expects of you. He said that I am the Lord, which exercises. This is what the Lord exercises. You know, when you exercise, you work out, you putting it in motion. Love and kindness, something that's missing in Israel.
Yes.
Judgment, which is justice.
Yep.
You ain't out there taking bribes and working against your people. You exercising justice. And righteousness. You living right. You keeping the commandments. You doing what's right in the earth. And that's wherever you are scattered. For he said, for in these things I delight, saith the Lord.
So he delighted in it.
This is what he delights in. Not your wisdom, your might, and your riches. But in knowing him and his love and kindness. None of that. And that stuff don't move him.
Because he said the earth is mine and the fullness thereof. So ain't that you can impress him with riches.
How you going to contribute me with my own stuff?
Look, Lord, look. Let me show you the stuff you gave me. Look how much I got of it.
Yes. Like, that makes no sense. That's a good point. How you going to impress me with my own car?
Yeah.
It just makes no sense.
You borrow my car and you take it for a spin and you come back and pull up like it's yours. You tired. Here, girl, look at my wheel. Girl, that's my wheel.
That's right. It ain't yours.
Oh, that thing, give me the keys.
That's right. Oh, goodness. All right. Proverbs 27:2.
All right. Get down. Well, Mama, you getting to these scripts fast. I'll still be flipping.
Oh. That's all right.
Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth. A stranger, and not thine own lips.
All right. So it says, let another man praise thee and not your own mouth. You shouldn't be out there boasting about how much money you got and all that. See, if a stranger gonna praise me, I want him to say, I love how you live right. You're a virtuous woman. I like how you done raise your kids and how you submissive to your husband. Let them praise you in that.
In serving God.
In serving God, that's right. A stranger and not thine own lips. Because you're going to get the boasting and bragging. And then when you fall from off your pedestal, from you doing all the talking about yourself, then, I thought you said you was...
It's embarrassing.
And then you're going to be looking silly. But let them, and if they do praise you, praise me in the way I serve the Most High.
That's right.
Let that be accounted to. I don't never hear you talking about people. I don't never hear you biting and cutting up and out there in the streets running. Shouldn't be there. But if they do praise me, I want them to praise me with my light shining.
That's right.
Right? 2 Corinthians 12 and verse 7. We're going to go back there.
All right. And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me.
All right, that was well said, Paul. I really love the way he puts that. But it shows you, everybody want them understanding Paul got in the break. A price came with that.
That's right.
And the Lord answer is, my grace is sufficient. Because why? I could have killed you when you was out there doing that to the saints.
Yep.
Putting people in jail, holding cloaks, riding herd on Israel like you done lost your mind. So my grace is sufficient. So this little thing I done put in you, it ain't nothing. Get out there and teach my word. So Paul said, I would gladly glory in my infirmities. Because why? Lord could have took me out a long time ago.
Yep.
So if I have the baddest thorn in my flesh, so be it. That the power of God may rest on me. Because why? You going to be crying out to him.
Yeah.
That thorn get on, Lord, heal, Lord, touch me.
That's right.
You doing miracles and signs and wonders, but that thorn on you, boy, you be, oh, Lord, help me, Jesus. Just touch me, come down, send an angel, something. Yeah. But if you glory in that other thing, you out there boasting and walking proudly, you ain't worried about what's on you. Is you looking to the Most High? No.
That's true.
Because that's why went back to Jeremiah. He said, don't glory in your wisdom. Yeah, I got all understanding of these scripts. You want me to bring it back to the Greek?
Yeah.
I can do that now. Yes.
They do that.
Yes. But let's go to Judges 16 and read, and we're going to pick up at verse 20. All right.
Judges 16 and verse 20. And he said, and she said, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times before and shake myself. And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him. But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. Then the lords of the Philistines gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their god, and to rejoice. For they said, our God have delivered Samson our enemy into our hand. And when the people saw him, they praised their God. For they said, our God have delivered into our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, that they said, call for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport. And they set him between the pillars. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes.
All right. So here goes Samson. Now, mind you, Samson was exalted above measure.
Yep.
Even his parents tried to tell him,
Yep.
don't marry that Philistine woman. You ain't got no Israelite women you can marry. And all the mother nations of women love Samson. Them big muscles he got. But we all know the story. She cut them locks. But look at this, that Samson, when he woke up out of his sleep, he didn't say, first thing he said, yeah, I'm going to go out as I did other times. You didn't pray to the Most High. You didn't say,
got up.
Lord, show me how the enemy is situated out here against me or nothing. Just wake up. Then you find out you're weak. Your strength is gone. Now they done put out your eyes. And mind you, you with a woman. And she's the people of your enemy. Now they say we ain't have no enemy.
Yeah, they say.
But they said
our enemy.
our enemy. They called him.
They said Samson is our
somebody
enemy.
lying. But the thing with this here, it shows that's why the Lord said, don't glory in your might. See, Samson glory, I'll go out here as I did before times. That's glory in your might. Without depending on the Most High to go before you. People done made merry, you done set up their God, Dagon, and all this. But at Solomon's weak, that's what Paul said, in my weakness.
In my weakness.
That's when God showed up. That's what Paul said, I'm going to glory in that. Samson said that, and I see how
Yep.
now that he's weak,
Now he's weak.
that's when he looked to the Lord and said, Lord, avenge me this one time, because they put my eyes out. And they put him between them two pillars, and you know he brought the house down.
Sure did.
But you should have been looking to the Lord the whole time and glorying in him.
Boy, that's a good one now.
But that's what Paul said. Now, so y'all can glory in all that. Think Samson's gonna glory here. My mom, she ain't drank nothing, eat nothing like that. With the Most High when she would carry me.
Yeah.
See, because she knew I was gonna be anointed to
Yeah.
do this thing for Israel.
Nazarites.
That's right. Nazarite. Yeah. To the enemy. And notice the enemy always send something they know you got your eyes on.
Yep.
Know you like that little Philistine honey, huh?
I was gonna say our people actually live in the story of Samson.
Yes.
In these days, you see it.
Yeah. Eyes completely out too. They done put them eyes out. All right, but we see this what here happened to Samson. And they made sport of him when they got him, but look at what Paul said. So Paul had some understanding.
That's right. He like,
No, I ain't gonna boast in glory in that. I
Because he
remember what
read
happened to
this.
Samson.
No, I'm good.
No, Paul said, I'd rather glory in my infirmities and in my weaknesses, because that's when the Lord showed out. And he did it just like that for Samson. When Samson, what? Humble yourself.
Yep.
All right. Now let's go back to 2 Corinthians 12 and verse 11.
Did we read the 10?
Did we do 10?
Oh, no, ma'am. I don't think we did
Oh,
10.
okay. All right.
It says, therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong.
All right. So Paul said, this is where I'm going to take pleasure. This is what I'm going to glory in infirmities, in my weaknesses. Even if my eyes messed up, can't see, they running, and y'all even said they would give their eyes to Paul if they could. He said in reproaches, people just, they just can't stand you, just don't even want to be around you. In necessities, you're in need.
Always in need. It's always something.
Persecutions. And in distress is what? For Christ's sake. He said, for when I am weak, then I am strong. Because that's when the Lord show up. Because why? You need him. You depend on him to bring you out of these persecution, distresses, the reproaches, the infirmities. That's when he show up. We just read he did it for Samson.
Sure did.
All
But
right.
it's like you always want to have that mentality. You always want to be humble.
Yes. And that's why I'm so glad that we learned the true meaning of the Day of Atonement. Is to humble yourself, to anah. But our people will cut themselves off from eating. While I talk about burgers and fries, everything as soon as it open, but they would not anah. They would not humble themselves, and that fast was truly working. We would be in a better state.
Because
But
that
we
way we
know
was talking about.
it's about humbling yourself. Right?
Verse 11. I am become a fool in glorying. You have compelled me. For I ought to have been commended of you. For in nothing am I behind the very chiefest apostles, though I be nothing. Verse 12. Truly the signs of an apostle will wrought among you in all patience, in signs and wonders and mighty deeds.
Yep. Paul said, I became a fool in glory just for even telling it to y'all. But he said, y'all pushed me to this, so I had to show y'all what time it was. But he said, I ought to have been commended of you, because for in nothing, he said, I'm behind of the very chiefest apostles, though I be nothing. He said, even though I'm nothing, he said, just like they got the full package from Christ, I got the same package.
That's right.
Full package. Peter, James, John, all those, I got the same
right.
gift. That's why he called the apostle Paul.
Yeah.
We don't see your name there as apostle or
Yeah.
anything, but we see his. He said, truly the signs of an apostle were wrought among you in all patience, in signs and wonders and mighty deeds. When he came, he did the works. They saw the proof. But let's go to 1 Corinthians 9. One through 3.
1 through 3. It reads, Am I not an apostle? Am I not free? Have I not seen Jesus Christ our Lord? Are not ye my work in the Lord? If I be not an apostle unto others, yet doubtless I am to you. For the seal of mine apostleship are ye in the Lord. Mine answer to them that do examine me is this.
All right, so we just wanted to go through 1 through 3. So Paul said, am I not an apostle? He's saying the same thing here. He said, truly the signs of an apostle were wrought among you in all patience, in signs, wonders, and mighty deeds. But he said, if I be not an apostle unto others, you know for sure that I'm an apostle. Because I did all these things among you Corinthians. And so what they really should be saying, like some of us, because we get beside ourselves, how about telling the preacher, thank you for giving me knowledge on how to operate in my finances.
That's right.
Because I was broke before I took your advice.
That's right.
Thank you, Brother Reggie, for giving us the understanding of the wilderness. Thank you, Zahara, for dropping jewels and giving us understanding of Ruth the Moabitess. Thank you, Reggie Jr., for giving us understanding of Genesis. Where is it?
Nope.
But it's you lying in the wilderness and this, they go crazy. But
Well,
what
they
they
do how they
should
did
be
Paul.
doing is saying thank you.
They do you how they do Paul.
Yes. Exactly. Because
No love, no nothing. Just
should be saying
ugly.
thank you. Because think about your life, where you were before this person imparted that information into you. So before you get all high and mighty beside yourself and thinking you know everything, you should be telling that person thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Acts 9 and 13. But what we want to do is I'm going to go in challenge mode.
That's what it is. Yep. Always trying to challenge.
Okay. Acts 9 and 13 it says,
Then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he have done to thy saints at Jerusalem. And here he have authority from the chief priest to bind all that call on thy name. But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. For I will shew him how great things he must suffer for my name's sake.
all right. And so we see here, this is where Paul was called and chosen to be apostle. Now, I don't know about all them casting lots like they did and fell on Justice or whatever his name was. No, but we know Paul was chosen.
That's right.
And also, when we refer back to 1 Corinthians 9, and you know what he says, am I not free? In verse 1, have I not seen Jesus Christ our Lord? Now, we know Jesus was gone, resurrected, and returned to the Father. So when he seen him. Well, when he was caught up in the Parental.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's when.
That's right.
So yes, Paul the apostle, and even to this day, people still discredit
They
Paul.
do to this day.
But can't understand none of his letters.
Nope.
And they ain't wrote not a one themselves. But you want to discredit this man, and he's kicking straight knowledge. So Paul, boy, even in your death, they still discredit you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to go back to 2 Corinthians 12 and verse 13.
For what is it wherein ye were inferior to other churches, except it be that I myself was not burdensome to you? Forgive me this wrong.
All right, so Paul said the only thing I failed to do, which I do to the other churches, was to become a financial burden to you. So he said, forgive me of that wrong, because I wasn't a financial burden. But Paul, remember, he was a tent maker.
Yeah, made sense.
That's it. That was his occupation. But he still wasn't a financial burden to these Corinthians. So they really got beside themselves.
No wonder he was mad, because in the last chapter he said, you don't mind if these apostles slap you in the face, use you, take your money, strip you down, but you fight me.
Yes.
It really is truly amazing.
It is.
When, you try to help your people.
And then they resort to you like you the enemy.
Yeah, you're like, dang, I'm helping you. But relying on some sucker.
Yeah. And he is a sucker.
Yeah.
That come along to deceive the flock. But that's who our people gravitate to. Because it really is some foolishness they want to get into
That
a
is.
state in. And Paul was a disciplinaire. And they didn't want Paul there. Okay.
Verse 14. Behold, the third time I'm ready to come to you, and I will not be burdensome to you. For I seek not yours, but you. For the children ought not to lay up for the parents, but the parents for the children.
All right. So Paul said, I'm ready to come to you, the third time now. We got 1 Corinthians 1, 2, but we ain't got no 3. But he said, I'm ready to come to you the third time. And he says, I'm not going to be no burden because I don't want nothing from you.
Yeah.
All he wanted to do was impart this gospel to them. That was it. Because he said the children shouldn't have to provide for their parents.
Right.
But the parents provide for their children. And he's telling them, y'all are the children. I'm the parent. I'm supposed to be providing for y'all. Because remember, he told them, I'm your father in this thing. I got y'all as my own dear children.
Now, some of these preachers today, they need you to be laying up. They let the children lay up.
That's right. Yep. And that's even he used that analogy for the children ought not to lay up for the parents, but the parents for the children. But now today, even in this sense, you got children raising parents.
Yep. That's a shame.
Ma, get up. It's time for you to go to work. Ma, get
that's
up.
backwards.
You got to take me to school.
Boy, that right there is so backwards.
That's supposed to be reversed. But we have this thing going on today. All right. Verse 15.
Verse 15. And I will very gladly spend and be spent for you, though the more abundantly I love you, the less I be loved.
So Paul seemed like the more I love y'all, the less y'all love me.
Dang.
Even though I spend or I am just spent, or basically he's saying, I'm giving y'all all I got. And y'all still, the more I do that, the more y'all seem just to have a disdain and a hate for me. The more I love y'all, y'all love me the less. Imagine but that's the way it is. For some people, you can bend over backwards. You can go out your way. You can give them all you got. Israel still won't appreciate.
That's true.
Now, Lord, you took us out of bondage so you can kill us out here in the wilderness. He could have left you in there making the bricks and straw. How about a thank you, Lord, for delivering us from Egypt, from the hand of our enemies? Israel just don't get it.
That is.
But the ones who do love him, because we look at the way people talk to us.
Yes.
Or, the way they handle us as aggressive or overbearing, but that's what love is.
That's
the Lord, because a person who wants to keep you out of harm's way, they're going to go hard in the paint.
That's right.
And they're going to get in your grill because they don't want you to die.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yep. But them sweet talkers,
We
let
gotta
me
get
tell
away
you,
from
sing
that.
some. Won't he do it? That's what Israel want right there.
We got to get away from that.
Yep.
That has destroyed us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Verse 16.
But be it so, I did not burden you. Nevertheless, being crafty, I caught you with guile.
But Paul said, that's okay. It is what it is. Because he said, I haven't been a burden to you, but you're going to say I was being trickery and I caught you with guile and I was deceiving you. But Paul said, I caught you with guile. You was in some mess.
That's right.
But you're going to try to put it on me like I'm tricking y'all. I'm deceiving you. But the ones saying it, they be the main ones doing it.
Yep.
And so that's why they're accusing him of, you don't trust that Paul. See, when they come down and take them collections, I'm telling you, he don't make that much making tents. Titus and all them, I bet you they come with some new sandals on watch. But they the main ones out there ganking the flock. Watching the collection plate. They sniff greens from the bike from they care so hard that money plate go by, boy, them preachers' eyes be on it, boy. Be like that Jeepers Creepers thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's quivering inside. All right, verse 17.
Did I make a gain of you by any of them whom I sent unto you?
Paul said, did I exploit you through any of the brothers that I sent to you? Did they exploit you, take up extra offerings, used you? They didn't do that. But the ones who doing it, like he said, he said, could slap you in your face.
You'll let them do it, though.
Yep.
Verse 18. I desired Titus, and with him I sent a brother. Did Titus make a gain of you? Walk we not in the same spirit? Walk we not in the same steps?
All right. So did Titus take advantage of you? I mean, because we walk the same, so you got to tell me something. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 7 and 2. I don't know if I have that on your paper.
No, ma'am.
Sorry for the editor. 2 Corinthians 7 and 2. Okay. Okay. All right. 2 Corinthians 7 and verse 2.
Receive us. We have wronged no man. We have corrupted no man. We have defrauded no man.
And this is how Paul and them said they walked. They didn't corrupt, defraud, or wrong no man. And so if they said he did, him and Titus or any other brothers, they would be lying. But this is how they were walking. All right? So let's go to the next chapter, 2 Corinthians 8 and verse 5 and 6.
2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 5 and 6. And this they did, not as we hoped, but first gave their own selves to the Lord, and unto us by the will of God, insomuch that we desired Titus, that as he had begun, so he would also finish in you the same grace also.
All right. And so don't get the accusing Titus, because of course they was talking about the Macedonians and them giving, even though they didn't have much to give, they gave. But he's saying so much that we desired Titus, that as he had begun, so he would also finish in you that same grace also. So these men were there to try to do a work in these Israelites, but when you done been Hellenized, you're full of hell.
Yeah.
You fight against the truth. You rebel and kick, because it seems like Israel, boy, they love corrupt leaders.
They do.
They'll follow them to the gates of hell, trying to impart in them so they can wake up. out of their slumber, start living right, talking right, acting right, treating each other right. They don't want that. Look how hard a time Paul was having.
Yep, hard time. Yep.
My goodness, Israel is stubborn.
And it's always those troublemakers.
Yes.
It's always that one bunch in Israel.
Yes, it is.
And they spread their foolishness.
That's that leaven group.
Yep, the
That's why I say
leavening.
remove the leaven, get them jokers out of there.
2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 19.
Okay.
Again, think ye that we excuse ourselves unto you? We speak before God in Christ, but we do all things, dearly beloved, for your edifying.
All right. So Paul said, don't think we got to say all of this to defend ourselves, because I don't have to say none of this to defend ourselves, because while we are the servants of Christ, so we know how we are supposed to live and how we're supposed to treat our brothers and sisters. Paul basically, all we trying to do is to strengthen you. That's it. All right. Let's look at Romans 15, verse 2 and 3. But Israel can be so backwards.
Yes.
You trying to help them and strengthen them, they think you're trying to kill them.
Right. It's just like here, I can't say it enough. Here at Israel's church, that's all we're trying to do.
Yes.
And put all this, we put everything out there as much as God give us to give to y'all to help you. And what you get them troublemakers.
Oh, yes. Always
Here they
coming on
come
the
stirring
kick.
stuff up. All this free message. You know how many, some of these churches out here, they'll give you all this free.
They sure don't.
Better pay for the rest of the lesson.
That's right. They ain't giving you
Still
nothing.
stuff they've been teaching.
That's right.
And really trying to deep dive and really take you all into the scriptures. And what do we get? People come in the comments, people come on chats, people send emails, and just let us know they disdain.
Yes.
I just need you to know.
Yeah. That's
I
right.
don't like you. Why? Because your head big.
Yeah, it's just
The way you said it, it's still on me. What?
yes.
And it's not like you have to be here.
Just when you say the word precept, I cringe inside. Get going.
But that's because these scriptures the Lord told you is like a sword.
Yes,
It
it
will
is.
find you out. If you ain't living right, that thing cuts.
Yes, it do.
It hurts. But what the word does is trying to heal you. Now,
Yes.
it ain't just to cut you and you just there bleed. No, it's to heal you and make you better, stronger, wiser. And to develop that relationship with God, get it stronger.
Yes.
But nah, Israel don't want all this.
No, let me stay the way I am.
I don't want this, because truth be told, I don't really want none of this.
They don't.
I love the idea of serving God. I love the idea of being a servant.
Yes, that's right. Those are the facts. Okay.
So Romans chapter 15, verse 2. Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good, to edification. For even Christ pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproach thee fell on me.
All right, and this is what Paul was talking about. We servants of Christ. This is how we walk before God. When we speak, we know the Lord hears what we're saying, what we're telling you. And even as a minister, you're responsible for what you teach these people.
Is.
And Paul understands that. But he said, let every one of us please his neighbor for the good of his what? Edification. And that's what Paul said in verse 19 of 2 Corinthians. He said, but we do all things dearly beloved for what? You're edifying.
Yeah.
It's to build you up. It's to encourage you. It's to teach you. No, you trying to kill us, Paul.
You killing us.
You probably false.
Yeah.
False prophet. That's probably how they think you.
Same ones he said in Jesus' name, hand be healed. Hearing to your ears.
Yeah. That's
Praying
right.
for your children.
That's right.
Now all of a sudden he falls, his eyes crossed over.
Yeah. That's right.
We not sure if God really sent him.
Yeah, you ain't sure now, because some little joker done came across y'all path with a 2-point sermon lying to you. Verse 3 says, "For even Christ pleased not himself, but it is written, the reproaches of them that reproach thee fell on me." And that was talking about Judah and Israel. All them insults and hurt, that stuff Christ took on himself. But, of course, Israel don't appreciate that either.
It's
What
so
he say,
sad.
deny the Lord even brought them.
I tell you, it's sad.
Yes, it is. Right?
All right, so back to 2 Corinthians 12 and verse 20. "For I fear, lest when I come, I shall not find you such as I would, and that I shall be found unto you such as you would not. Lest there be debates, envyings, wraths, strifes, backbitings, whisperings, swellings, and tumults."
No. So Paul said, I'm afraid that when I come, I ain't going to like what I find. Because this is what I think I'm going to find. I'm going to find some debates, some conflicts, envyings, bunch of jealousy up in there.
Man.
Wraths, just angry, being mean and nasty, strifes, them disputes and disagreements. No, I'm with Paul. Ain't you with Paul? You got to get out of here. Backbitings, slandering each other behind their back, or today, as they say, let me holler at you at the Sabbath class because I got something to tell you. Whisperings, secretly talking about them
Yep.
after Sabbath class is over. Swellings, that's pride and puffed up. And tumults, just confusion and disorder. And what is these? All works of the flesh.
That's right.
And Paul said, I'm afraid this is what I'm going to find. That's why they want you out of there, Paul, because they flesh workers.
Yep.
And they don't want you to rebuke this behavior. They want a preacher that's going to come and sit there, take tithes and offerings, fill his pocket, and don't get on our behavior.
right.
Let us act the way we want to act. And don't you say nothing. All right? Verse 21.
"Unless, when I come again, my God will humble me among you, and that I shall bewail many which have sinned already, and have not repented of the uncleanliness and fornication and lasciviousness which they have committed."
All right. So Paul says, so when I come again, God will humble me among you, so I won't have to go off on these. God humbled me, so I won't have to go off on these Corinthians. He said, I just have to be grieved over many that have already sinned and they have not repented because they don't want to receive the discipline. Paul, you yelling at me. You're speaking. So mean. Yes, why are you just so loud? But he said they haven't repented of uncleanness, fornication, lasciviousness, which they have committed. They still flesh walkers. So Paul said, I guess I just be grieved with that when I see it. Because they don't want to receive the discipline and the rebuke. But you want to get it on this side.
You sure
Because
do.
if you continue on, repentance is going to be over soon.
Yeah, it's going to be over.
You're going to be facing the judgment. And that's why the preacher cry loud and spare not.
That's right.
Because when the Lord come and once he roar and cry and the seventh trump is over, he's sparing.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, when y'all get a chance, just pull up, like an army recruit video.
Yeah.
And, look at how them sergeants and them
In
drill
their
them.
face.
I'm talking about from the first day they step foot in there.
Yes.
They not playing. Put them bags up. And they be like,
Yeah.
oh, shoot. What are you looking at? They be
Yes.
shocked like they stunned. I'm like, I don't know what y'all think this is.
That's right.
We in a war.
That's right.
And how many times is the Lord going to liken our walk to that, and you in here, you playing like this is funny or something, like this some type of game. No,
It's for real.
put on the whole armor. Use the sword of the spirit, feet shod with the gospel of peace, helmet of salvation, breastplate.
That's right.
Like, what y'all think this is? Some little walk in the park and we on the beach or something with flip flops
Yeah.
and all that? Nah, you need to get your stuff together. God ain't playing out here.
No, better take a look around you.
Well, you better get serious. You
That's
better
right.
have a mind to live for God.
That's right.
Because there's landmines everywhere.
It sure is.
But yeah, watch those kind of videos. I love to watch stuff like that. And you know, it's funny because you'll have people in this truth came from that.
Yes.
And they get mad.
Yeah.
That's some discipline and
That's
correction.
right.
I'm like, what? You came from the
that,
army.
Yes, that's right. You're right.
Like, the Lord ain't playing.
He ain't playing.
So get
hard.
yourself together.
That's right. Well, that was well said.
Nothing else to add.
Well, all right then, y'all. With that said, we will say
Shalom.
Israel's conversations, couch conversations, couch conversations, conversations.